cars of London. And there goes my GoPro off the window. Oh, I didn't mention, the suspension in this car is really stiff. God damn it. So today was supposed to be the day that I did the first proper drive in the 458 Speciale. However, Britain has decided to have a complete hissy fit and blanketed the whole country with fog. It's been raining, and to be honest, since I collected the car, which was the video I did last, I haven't really been able to drive it properly, which means the car isn't running yet. I've got to do at least 500 miles before I can sort of take it above 5,000 or 6,000 RPM. Yeah, and I believe the first drive for you guys should give you the best insight into what the car sounds like, how it feels, and I believe that means taking it to the red line. However, I think this is a pretty good day to introduce you to my other car. So, let's take a look. And here she is. I was gonna get this car cleaned before I did this video, but you know what? That isn't the reality of this car. I really do hammer it as a daily driver. Case in point, look, it's just absolutely caked in it. Massive carbon discs there. So yeah, here she is, our Audi R8 V10 Plus. It's around 550 horsepower, 4-wheel drive, twin clutch gearbox, carbon ceramic brakes, all around a fantastic daily driver. Let's see, what is different from the previous generation R8? Well, mostly very little details. Carbon splitter down here, that's always cool. The headlights are improved. They look more sort of up to date, I suppose. Basically, the upgrades on this car are quite subtle, but as a sum of all their parts, they really make this car stand out from the previous Gen R8s. Basically, there's a lot of carbon on this car. Carbon wing mirrors here, carbon side blade. Maybe I should have got this car cleaned actually before I did this video. You can't really see all of the nice shiny stuff. Mean diffuser, I'm not sure if that's coming through or not. Diffuser's fully carbon. Oh god, there's so much dirt. Look at this, look at the dirt. But look, there is carbon under there. Lots of carbon. Take a look in here. Behold, the carbon engine bay. It's all up the sides. Oh, even the engine bay is dirty. Yeah, all up the sides here. There's a lot of carbon. Airbox covers and carbon. Yeah, it looks really tasty. Funnily enough, actually, I just opened this sort of engine bay cover. The last engine bay cover I opened was on the Speciale. This feels like a sheet of steel in comparison to the Speciale's one. It is so heavy. That's amazing. Obviously, I can't get that through to you on camera, but believe me, this is like a big chunk of wedge. There we go. And you'll no doubt be seeing a lot more of this in my clips. So yeah, any questions you have about this car, by all means, ask in the comments and I'll get back to you. Let's take a look at the inside. Welcome to the inside of the R8. Now, the same as the outside, I am not going to pretend and clean this thing up. Look, I do use this every day and the dirt will back that up. But yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm showing you a real insight into my world of cars. R8 V10 Plus, we've got the flappy paddle changes here, linked to that amazing S-tronic gearbox. Yeah, infotainment. Obviously, this is, even though this version of the car is fairly new, the infotainment is just like MS-DOS or something. It's ridiculously outdated. Fortunately, I don't really use it that much. I just use it for radio and plug my iPhone into to play music through. So, yeah. Hello, GoPro. Yeah, inside the car then, again, not much changes really. Under here, nice gearbox. Sport button basically opens and closes the valve so you can actually hear what the exhaust sounds like. Which is good because it's very quiet in this car if you don't. Lots of carbon. inside and outside. The cool thing I like, it's not a game changer, but I like it. You can see on the sort of driver's zone, there's this like sweeping carbon bay that goes all the way around like that and then follows down here. But what's cool is up top on the dash, you can see that it goes from gloss to matte carbon, and it's only so that the sun doesn't reflect in your windscreen. But it's a nice touch. I like that sort of thought process. And satin carbon's a win. I really like satin. You don't see it that often. I think actually satin carbon is something that's coming on trend actually. I know Tim's 675 LT has a lot of it. Yeah, and it looks great. So I'm happy to have a piece of satin carbon in the R8. Another iconic feature of the R8 is the sweeping dials when you turn the car on. Oh, I like that. That is great. I mean, it's subtle, but it just looks cool. Unfortunately, they filtered that down to pretty much every Audi now. But it was something that was launched on the R8. And I still like it. It's good fun. It's cool. So yeah, there's your sort of sweeping dials. Okie doke. Always sounds good on a cold start. I'm not sure if that's coming through on the GoPro. Don't have an external mic hooked up to it yet, so probably doesn't sound that great. But I have to work with the tools I have. Okay, so yeah, the R8 genuinely is my daily driver. I drive this car every single day, and you know, when you're in England, you just got to get used to the fact that the weather's going to be pretty crap. And case in point, it is horrendous. The last 3 days, we've had blanket fog, we've had rain, all the leaves are starting to fall off the trees, and the R8 plows through. Honestly, there's something quite satisfying about driving a supercar and just crunching it through all of the dirt and not like having to be concerned about it. I guess it's a mindset thing, but not many supercars give you that feeling. Yeah, Audi have pulled a nice trick with this car because it keeps up with the best of them. But right now, I know I'm driving it in all of the crud and dirt. It sounds good too. It sounds great. Now, so this model is the V10 Plus. So it's the sort of last of the first generation. And the biggest change with this car is that finally they put a twin clutch S-line gearbox in, and it is a game changer, absolute game changer. I had the first generation R8, and I had the R-tronic gearbox. Bad move. That was not good. That was not a good gearbox. The S-line gearbox on this is phenomenal. It is absolutely seamless. There's no throttle cuts, and it really puts the power down. And you can floor this thing and change any, like, flat out. It's good to go. It's brilliant. Exhaust sound. The exhaust is good. It is really good. When you've driven this car on its own for a while and you haven't sort of jumped in and out of any other supercars, you're convinced the exhaust sounds amazing. But in actual fact, it isn't that loud. It just sounds quite nice. That V10 hum is always there, so it does sound good. But it's no Ferrari, that's for sure. It doesn't have the drama that a Ferrari gives you. But you know, it is an Audi. It has an Audi badge on it, and that's really why I bought this thing. I wanted the day-to-day experience of driving a supercar, but equally the day-to-day practicality of not really having to be concerned where I park it, if the weather's crap, you know, things like that. So, and it has done that role. It is fantastic. Back in April, I did a 3,000 mile road trip in this to the south of France. And I did that with Shmi 150, Sam from Seen Through Glass, and Paul from Supercars of London. And there goes my GoPro off the window. That's one thing I didn't mention. The suspension in this car is really stiff. God damn it. Okay, welcome back to the R8. Yeah, it has very stiff suspension. I'm pretty sure that's why the GoPro fell off the window. But one thing the V10 Plus doesn't have, that pretty much every other R8 has, is the adjustable dampers. This has fixed rate springs, fixed rate dampers. Fantastic on the track, not so good on bumpy country lanes, of which we have a lot of. So pretty sure that's why that fell off. Anyway, we're back, and where was I? One thing it does have, and it only does one thing. It does have a sport button. Now, I don't know, sport buttons generally these days don't do that much, but this one does even less. And the only thing it does is make the valves in the exhaust open up. Without that, you kind of don't even know it's changed gear. Again, lots of Audi polish. You know, it's very sophisticated and sort of refined and quiet. But yeah, sport button, valves open up, and when you downshift, you can actually tell that it's downshifted. So yeah, you pretty much have that on every minute you're in this car. Disc brakes. Right. This is a bit of a sore topic for me, because on the old R8 that I drove, I owned that car for about 3 years, and its brakes were not up to the job. They just weren't. Like, they were essentially the brakes off the RS4, which for a saloon car is brilliant, but for a sports car, not so brilliant. I went through 2 sets of discs in the original V8 R8 because I warped the pads, the fluid boiled, and my foot went straight to the floor, and I had no brakes. And at that point I was in the Alps. You don't want to run out of brakes in the Alps, man. That's really bad news. Serious cliff action. So, train line, GoPro still there, it's always a bonus. Yeah, so something else they've done with the V10 Plus is put on the most fantastic carbon ceramic brakes. These are serious. I've done quite a few track days in this car. As I mentioned, I've done a road trip through the Alps, no brake fade. Track day, no brake fade. And it was a full-on track day. It was like a 9 till 5 job. It wasn't, you know, a few laps. It was pretty heavy. And it was at the Goodwood circuit, so that's quite a fast circuit. It was good. Really, really good brakes. So together with this gearbox and the brakes, Audi have really elevated the R8 from what I sort of class as a sports car to a supercar now. You know, it's really good. You can really anchor this thing on and give it the beans, man. It's just a great car. Everywhere's just so wet and slippy right now. That's why this car's great. 4-wheel drive, of course. That's always a bonus. The 4-wheel drive is actually a 70-30 distribution between the front and rear wheels. Not to get too technical on you, but basically that means you can get the back end out pretty nicely, with the front end still there to kind of keep you in check if needs be. That happens quite a lot. See, right now you probably can't hear that, but I'm going down the road and it is absolutely caked in mud, leaves, just general grime, so much so I can hear all the dirt hitting the wheel arches. And I don't care, because it's an Audi. You know, that's the beauty of this thing. You really are driving something epically fast that you can use every single day. And this video really, I guess, for the time being, is a stopgap between being able to show you the first drive in the Speciale. The weather here has been pretty crap. It's been fog everywhere. There's been lots of dirt on the roads. It's been raining a lot, and I just haven't had chance to run in the Speciale yet. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to introduce you to the R8. Obviously, it's not the latest, greatest supercar. Lots of people have seen these, but it is, you know, it is one of my cars, and I use it every single day. So chances are you'll be seeing a lot more of this car.